It's Try It Tuesday with Scrap and Bean. Today I'm going to be making a card actually with this stamp set, and it is, what is it called? If you're looking for it on our website, it's called Sweater Bears. So it has this cute little grouping of bears, and you can also stamp these knitted sweater designs right onto them. And their scarves, so you can put little design on their, stamp a design on their scarf too. So you have a solid sweater and then a pattern, so you could actually layer it. And then it's got some real cute little sentiments to go with it. One is, each time I see a snowflake fall, it reminds me of you, one of a kind. Or the chill of winter's always warmed by friends and family. That's a really nice one. Or this little fun one, I miss you snow, snow much. So that's a good one to send out to even our friends that we're missing through these kind of stay away from people times during the pandemic. Or there's also a snow in love with you. Today I'm not going to use these sentiments because I'm going to use this stamp set as a Christmas card. But this is a good example of a stamp set that could be used beyond Christmas as well, just changing up the sentiment. So I'm also going to work with a velvet paper. Might not be able to tell that on camera, but it's very fuzzy and soft and it feels like velvet. It's actually paper that's velvet, which is very fun to work with, and that's white. So my idea is to make these little bears have a velvety feel to them. And then there's some nice winter paper here. If you're looking for this on our website, it's under Winter Magic. And this is under the Winter Magic line. This one happens to be called Snowmen. And on the back side, or the alternate side, it's got these cute little snowmen dancing around. And then I'm also going to use some glitter paper. So we're back to white again, but this nice, really solid sparkle on there. And then I've pulled out this sentiment stamp set. This has been my go-to stamp set for Christmas cards this year. It's got a variety of things on there, so I'm sure I'll find something that will work for this card as well. So I'm going to start with, I have here a card base that I've just cut and folded. So there's the base of just a standard size card. And then from this pattern paper, I cut a piece that's just a 1/4 inch smaller than the card all the way around. So that's my prep for this. And my idea is to have these little bears, and I want to have them sitting in snow. So I went ahead of time and I did cut out this little grouping of family bears. I'll put it against the blue, so hopefully that'll show up a little bit better. So I actually stamped them onto the velvet paper, and yes, you can stamp in detail on the velvet. I'll show you a close-up there. So you get all the detail off the stamp, even the little spots, the little specks that are kind of shadows, the eyeball, all that detail shows up really well on the velvet. And I'm going to stamp some sweaters onto them so that you can actually watch, you can see the stamping live and see how easily that turns out. So I'll do this little, maybe this sweater pattern here. I think I just lost a snowflake stamp. So I'm just putting it on a stamping block, and I'm gonna make it like a blue knitted sweater to kind of match my winter sky here. So I'm using the Distress Ink Broken China. So I'll just stamp that up nice. And that goes on this little guy here. So it's actually, it stamps his sweater, this guy's scarf, and this little guy's scarf, and even this little piece off to the end there. So let's see, I'll have to stand up and hopefully not get my head in the way so I can line up that stamp reasonably close to the design. And here's our little knitted pattern in light blue. So you can see it on the, this looks like Daddy Bear to me, on his sweater and his collar, and then the little guy's got it on his collar there as well. So it stamps just beautifully on that velvet paper. As a side note, you can also run this velvet paper through embossing folders and it holds that design really nice. And let's see, this one to me looks like it's Mama Bear. And so I think she needs a pretty little scarf too. And let's see, she's got some patterns, a couple different patterns that you can put on it. We'll just choose that one. Try to stay on camera here so you can at least see what's going on. And then little Mama Bear, we'll stamp her scarf. And there, she's got a pattern on there too. So now it's basically just assemble my card, I think. So my idea was have these little guys sitting on here, but I need some snow for them to sit on. So that's where I thought this glitter would come in. So I just have a piece of the glitter cardstock that I've cut down a little bit smaller, and I think this is actually the width of the whole card, or this way it's just the width of the design. Maybe we'll put the snow the whole card. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut it a shape of what I think a hill of snow might be like. Something like that. You can also get die cuts that'll cut your hill of snow, but I think cutting it by hand works too. And I have extra on there, so I'm gonna chop some of that off, and I think I can make use of that. And the glitter paper is a little bit heavy, so when you're putting it through your cutter, you may have to do like I did there and run your blade over it a couple of times just to get it to cut all the way through. Especially if your blade is time to be replaced. So here we have a little mountain, or at least the ground, of snow for our guys to sit on. And I kind of think I might need a little mountain behind them too. So let's, how am I going to do this? Maybe this way. So can we layer these and make them look like, hope I'm still on camera. So while I'm thinking about this, you can at least see what's going on. Or would it look better like that? Maybe we'll go that way. This hill might be a little high, but you know what? I'm gonna go with it like that. So then I'm going to, I do like to put some ink on my edges. The edges of my cardstock, I mean. So I'm going to go back to this same ink I used on their sweater, so we can keep it kind of all matching with the broken china. Obviously you can use any kind of blue ink that you want. So I'll just take my little sponge out of there, put some ink on it, and then I'm going to ink just around the edges of this blue one, this blue design. And I'm not going to worry about the bottom because that's going to be covered with our little snow hills. There we go. And then I think I'm ready to assemble that. Yeah, and I think to differentiate these edges, or these little hills, so it looks a little more dimensional, I'm going to put some of these pieces of adhesive behind there. So I think we're ready to assemble this. So my first piece is going to be sticking that one down onto the card. And I really like using this Sukwang tape. It's good and strong, so you don't need Don't need a lot of it. Put one piece on the bottom and one on the top, and that should be enough. And then I'll try to line this up reasonably close. And you know, I don't worry about being exact because I'm not Hallmark. I'm doing handmade cards, so I'm okay if things are not perfect. And then, did I decide which hill was going on the front? I think I like it like that. So I'll put this one down as well, with that same Sukwang adhesive. And I'll put a little piece on the top there just to hold that in. If you don't like tearing your Sukwang the way I do, you can always snip it with scissors too, but I just find that's really a quick way. So I'll glue that down, and then this one I want to have a little bit of space between there, just so you can tell it's two different mounds of snow. So I'm going to put these adhesive dots. I'll just place a few across here. Three of them should do. Take the backing off there, so now they're all sticky. And I'll put that down on my card as well. There. So you've got a little bit of dimension there between your mounds of snow. And then we can put our little family of bears on here. Place them however we want. I do like to have my characters, so even when I'm scrapbooking or when I'm doing cards with little characters, I like to have them looking into the center or else looking up to a focal point. So this, if you were doing like a big North Star up here, maybe would be good to have them looking up, but I find that looks more friendly than if they're like this. They look like they have their backs to each other, and I don't care for that. So we put one of them under the hill, and then it just really accentuates that we got two hills on there. Either that or little mama bear's sitting on a mountain of snow by herself. So we'll do it like this. I like that. So you could do this easily with liquid glue or the Sukwang, but I'll actually do the liquid glue. And now that I said that, I think the liquid glue would be a better idea. The reason is, I'm just get it glued on here because I can't line it up and talk at the same time. Or I could do them up in pop dots. Oh, maybe that would be better. Okay, so what I was going to say, when you're gluing something flat, like the back of this is flat, and you're going to glue it onto this glitter cardstock, which is not smooth, if you were to use a double-sided tape, then your double-sided tape is going to stick to here really well, but the side that's sticking to this is only going to be sticking to the tips of those glitter chunks. Where a liquid glue, if you put it on here, it's going to the glue is going to run right into the little valleys between these chunks and just give you more surface to grip there. So I think that's actually a better grip, but I've changed my mind now and decide I think I want these little bears to be popped up. So what I'm going to do is put my little three-dimensional adhesives on there and expose the sticky. And now you can see that when I line this up, this little bear's head, this little dimensional here, is going to glue onto the paper, so that's going to stick fine. And these just might, they're big enough, they just might hold on there, but I certainly don't want to give this card to somebody and they have it for a few days and then it falls apart. So just to be sure, I'm going to add some more liquid adhesive on top of these two. And then I know that liquid adhesive is going to go down into the grooves and it's just really going to hold it there. And there's just going to be no issue at all with it coming back off. So there, and if I hold it this way, you might be able to see there's got some dimension there now. And you know what? I think I'm just going to not put a sentiment on the outside. I'll save it for the inside, because I'm really liking how that is, and hopefully some of that sparkle shows up on the camera. So what we have here is some nice texture. We have this sparkly glitter that's got some texture to it, and also we have these really fuzzy soft bears. So this might be a nice Christmas card for me to give to my grandson, because he likes feeling things, and he's only a year old, but he really likes to touch things that have different feel to them. So he would like that, I think. But I mean, who wouldn't? I like that too. So there's one idea. The next one, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. And unfortunately, it wasn't 100% prepared here. So we're going to cut off some cardstock for a base. And I'm going to do a standard size card again. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And that'll give me the nice size for just the front of a card. Get rid of that paper now. And some of my glittery scraps. And on here, my other idea was, instead of pattern paper, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. And I'm going to do some stenciling, because I like to stencil. Stencils are so versatile, and of course you can use them over and over again, so I really enjoy them. So I'm going to use this plaid stencil, and I'm going to use the same color of ink, Broken China. It just seems to be a nice one for a cold, wintry look. So I'll ink up, and I'm going to do basically an oval design. And I'll just start adding my ink on there, going around in an oval. And the bottom of it, I'm going to cover up with snow again, like we had on here, so I'm not too worried about the bottom. Make this just a little bit darker. And maybe I'll go a little wider, so it's a little bit bigger area. So it's covering a good portion of my card there. Then I'm going to put this stencil on top of it, and I want it to cover that whole design. So it's a small stencil, big card. I may need to move it and do it a couple of times. So my idea on this was to make this area plaid. So I'm just want to ink through my stencil just over this blue. I don't really want to go off into the white area, at least not too much. So I'll ink it up, and then I'm following that same, wherever I've already got blue ink. Now I'm just putting the same color ink on, but because I'm layering it some more, it should go a little bit darker, enough that hopefully we can see the plaid pattern. And I know it's not very realistic to have a plaid sky, but you know what? This is card making. We can do what we want. We want a plaid sky? We can have a plaid sky. I just thought it was cute. Or that it would be. We'll see what it turns out. Maybe it'll be something I decide I don't want to do again. I like it. I think that's okay. Now my next... what are we going to do here? Our bears again, right? So I have these bears that I've already cut. I've stamped on the velvet and cut, because I didn't figure that you guys would want to sit here and watch me cut. However, just to let you know, cutting velvet paper, like just fussy cutting it out, I think it cuts even easier than paper. Like, it's so soft. The scissors just go through it really easy. It's actually quite thin, and there's just enough stiffness to it so that it's not floppy, but it's not so stiff that it's hard for your scissors to go through. So in my opinion, your scissors cut this easier than they even cut just our regular cardstock or scrapbook paper. So let's put a sweater design on them again. And this time we'll do, I dropped the other one, I think, on my, oh no, it's up here still. No, I did. I dropped it on the floor. Okay, so rather than pick it up right now, we'll just pick another sweater design because we can. Okay, I'm getting silly. It's late at night. I don't know if you guys realize, but I do these videos sometimes in the middle of the night, so they're ready for Tuesday, because I'm a nighttime crafter. Okay, and this is the sweater that goes on roughly about here. There we go. We got a little bit of blue sweater on there. And Mama Bear, I got her little scarf over here still. And there's her blue one. So they're all matchy-matchy. And maybe this time I won't do it out of glitter. I'll just do white cardstock just so you can see the difference. I really like the glitter though. Now that I've done it that way, I think that's how I'll keep doing it. And we'll do a little mound of snow. Oh, I don't like how I cut that one. It needs to be smoother so it doesn't look like it was, so it doesn't look like a fake hill of snow. Okay, because nothing fake on this card with a plaid sky. And because I have it on just plain paper rather than the glitter paper, then I could go ahead and put a sentiment down here too. So I think, what do we do? Winter wishes. Stay cozy. Warmest wishes. Warm hearts. Oh, there's just so many cute ones on there. I really like that. Okay, but we're gonna do this one here, I think. And if I take off some of these, get my little mess going. So there's our stamp on there. Make sure I know which direction the words are going, so because I don't want to stamp it upside down. And you could do these words out of black. I mean, obviously you can stamp them whatever color you want, but I'm going to try it with this. It's a little bit of a light color for a sentiment, but we'll try it anyways. Yeah, that'll work. I kind of think I might like it in black though, just so it stands out a little bit more. And maybe this time we'll just give them one little hill of snow. Something like that. And I think it still needs some more blue around the edge. And what did I do with my, here it is. So I'm going to ink this up. Just a really quick way to add a little bit more color. And I'm even going to go a little silly with our snow and put a little bit of blue on there, because blue's kind of a nice frosty color. And it'll just help to show that this piece is separate from the back, so it'll give it a little bit more interest. And I think I'm going to pop that up too. In fact, what I'll do, we'll try it this way. I'm going to put tape on the bottom and then just these foam adhesive bits along the top. So the bottom is going to stay attached right against the card. And the top of our snow hill will stick up just a little bit. So I'll line that up with the bottom of my card base. And there we go. We've got a little bit of that standing up there. And we've got our sentiment on there ready. So here's just a matter of adding our little teddy bears, our polar bears, obviously polar bears, Kathy, on there. And now if I have their heads, I don't really want their head flopping there. So I'm going to put this adhesive behind the parts that are going to stick up above. And this one, I need a smaller foam dot because that one's going to show. And rather than go hunting for them, I'm just going to cut that in half and it'll be the right size. There we go. And put a little piece of adhesive on the bottom. And actually, I've got my glue out here. You could put any kind of glue on there, or the double-sided tape, either one. So there's one little bear down. And I'm actually putting more liquid glue on there than what it needs. These are pretty light, so it's not going to take much glue to hold them there. And there we go. A card with even a little sentiment on there. Now, if you wanted to put a sentiment onto this glitter, so if you wanted a little sentiment down here, stamping on the glitter, well, I was going to say it doesn't work, but you know what? I've never actually done it because I just assumed it wasn't going to work. So let's try it and then we'll know for sure. So I have this little scrap piece and I'm going to try it in black just because that's going to show up better than the blue. And let's just see what happens. Make sure I get some good ink on there. I totally expect it to not show up because it's not a smooth surface, but hey, could be wrong. And actually it does show up, but here's what I would do because it's showing up kind of light, like it's not a solid black. So if I was going to stamp on this in the future, which I just might, because hey, who knew it was going to work? I would put this in a stamp positioner tool or a stamping platform and stamp it a couple of times just so that it gets darker because it's showing up really a little bit faded there, like it's not solid black. So I think that would actually work. Okay, so I don't know if you gals enjoyed Try It Tuesdays, but I just learned something new, so I kind of like these Try It days. So there we've got two different options. Was there something else I was going to do? Maybe that was it. Yeah, I guess that was all other than decorating the inside of my card. So on something like this, it's easy enough to decorate it just to pull out my paper trimmer again. And we'll do, if you just want a speck of color on the inside of your card, we'll just do this coordinating. And this is a way that you can use up your scraps. And since it's inked on the outside, I would ink this piece for the inside too. And then I would just, obviously I'd stamp my sentiment in here or some kind of a Christmas greeting since this is my Christmas card. And then just adhere that down, and you've got just a little splash of design on the inside of your card to keep it interesting. And you know, lots of times you have scraps left over that are just small enough, so it's a way to use your scraps too, but it just adds a little pop of color in there. So there's an idea, and I hope you gals find that interesting and maybe would give it a try. Actually, I have some more here because I've been playing with these on our Friday night free craft nights, our virtual crops. I was doing some of these cards too. So these are not on velvet and there's not glitter. These are just regular white cardstock. So I like the velvet better. But this one I added some snowflakes, which is also part of this stamp set. Comes with some little snowflakes. So I added some of those around there. Some I did with just one bear rather than many. Some with two bears. So yeah, have some fun with that. And if you're looking for the stamp set, did I tell you already? It's called Sweater Bears. And we do have some of those in stock. Happy crafting!